Okay, so this time I'm gonna show you a week of low-calorie, high-protein dinners. First off, we are making this ridiculously yummy ginger onion sauce. What kind of magic is this gonna turn into? You'll have to wait and see. I've already grated the ginger, so next up is grating the onion. I actually used quite a bit of ginger this time, and it gave it really nice kick. If you prefer just a hint of ginger, maybe cut the amount in half. Oh, and this is for one serving, by the way. If you want to make more, check the ingredients in the description or on my blog and just double or triple them. So throw the grated onion and ginger into a bowl, and then we're gonna add the seasonings. Add the sake, mirin, soy sauce, and a little bit of sugar. If you don't have sake, white wine works, and you can swap the mirin with white wine and a bit of sugar. If you don't want to use sake or mirin at all, just soy sauce and sugar is fine too. And that's the sauce done. I cut up the rest of the onion that was left over from grating to use later. Next, I'm cutting up the pork fillet. This is a low-fat, high-protein favorite of me and my hubby. I took off that white tendon bit, then cut into bite-sized pieces. I'm making pork fillet steak today, but you can definitely use chicken too. If you're not too worried about calories or fat, pork loin is also delicious. I'm adding some salt and pepper. Then a light dusting of potato starch. I'm gonna use this egg for the other dish. So let's quickly make the mixed rice for that, and I'll stick the pork in the fridge for a second. I'm lightly frying a bit of the onion I cut up earlier. Use as little oil as you can. Then I'm adding some boneless, skinless chicken thigh. This was frozen, so I thawed it a bit in the microwave. I add some sake and break it up. Make sure the chicken is cooked before adding the seasonings. I cut some of the bigger pieces with scissors. Once it's cooked, turn off the heat and add the seasonings. I'm making a miso garlic flavor today. So miso, a tiny bit of grated garlic, soy sauce, and mirin. Mix it all up. Once the chicken is coated, push it to the side of the pan and add the egg. I'd love to make fried rice, but I'm trying to cut back on oil, so I'm just cooking the egg like this in the non-stick pan without any added oil, then mixing it with the rice later. It's a bit different from today's recipe, but I did upload a video before of 6 different mixed rice recipes made with a pot or a rice cooker, so go check that out if you haven't seen it yet. Turn off the heat and add the green onion. They'll cook a bit with the residual heat. In another pan, add a little oil and cook the pork. Pork fillet gets so juicy and tender when cooked like this. It's amazing. Cook it for about 10 minutes, and once it's a little brown, flip it over. It doesn't have to be fully cooked here, but about 80 to 90% is good. Take it out as soon as you don't see any more pink juice. Don't turn off the heat, but maybe turn it down to low. Add the ginger onion sauce we made earlier. Simmer the sauce a bit and then put the pork back in to coat it. This time, cook the pork completely. The onion gets sweet when cooked and the sauce is amazing. And the ginger is great for warming you up in the winter. Flip the pork to coat it in the sauce and it's done. While I was making all this, I also cooked some rice in the rice cooker. And now it's time to make the mixed rice. Put the miso garlic chicken and egg into a bowl and mix it with the rice. Use a little less rice, it's still super satisfying with the chicken and egg. Plate it up and add a salad. This is a daikon radish salad I got from the grocery store. I picked it because it's so colorful. Add the pork and pour on a bunch of the ginger onion sauce that I super recommended. And that's it. Alright, next up is exotic fried rice. This is a low-calorie, high-protein dish packed with chicken and it was my first time making it, but I'm absolutely obsessed. My husband loved it too, so I'll definitely be making this again. It's a kind of unusual, exotic rice dish that you guys probably haven't tried before, so get excited. First, dice up the onion and garlic. And this time, I'm using chicken breast, but thigh meat works too. As always, I'm taking off the skin and cutting it into small pieces. Next, let's make the sauce. Ketchup, fish sauce, oyster sauce, and doubanjan. Mix it all together. You might think it's like ketchup rice you'd use for rice, but it's totally different. The fish sauce flavor is amazing and makes it so delicious. Is it easy for you guys to get fish sauce? Add a little oil to the pan and fry the onion and garlic. Cook until the onions start to get soft. Even though it's called fried rice, I'm doing the same as last time and cooking the ingredients first and then mixing it with the rice later. I think it's much healthier that way. So now I'm adding the chicken. But I thought, why not use sake to keep it from sticking and season the chicken at the same time. So I'm adding sake, soy sauce, salt and pepper to the chicken and mixing it all up. The sauce is already made, so just a little bit is enough. Maybe it would have been good to marinate the chicken beforehand. Cook the chicken until it's almost done. Now add the sauce we made earlier. I used a pretty small amount of doubanjan, but if you like it spicy, add more, or use whatever kind of chili you like. It doesn't have to be doubanjan. We are mixing this with rice, so it's better if it's not too watery. Cook it until there's almost no liquid left. Put the rice in a bowl and mix it with the sauce. If you want to cut down on calories even more, you could put it on top of tofu or a salad instead of rice. If you use like 100 grams of rice and add a bunch of chicken, it's a great low-calorie, high-protein meal. Lastly, fry an egg. The runny yolk mixed with the rice is just the best. Plate it up and add a salad. The tomato adds a nice pop of color too. Top it with the fried egg and you are done. Okay, next I'm gonna try making a super healthy tonkatsu. But before that, I'm making a side dish with broccoli. Broccoli is a great source of protein, so I try to buy it often. But lately, the prices are so high, it's crazy. And right now in Japan, cabbage prices are skyrocketing, so it's gotten so expensive that my husband was like, we don't need to eat cabbage anymore. Broccoli is still a little cheaper. Since I don't want to use any oil, I'm cooking it in the microwave this time. I'm using a lot of broccoli, so of course it's not just for one serving. I'm making a bunch and saving the rest in the fridge. Because there's so much, I'm taking it out of the microwave halfway through and mixing it, then putting it back into cook. I cook it at 500 watt for about 2.5 minutes. Make sure to pat off the excess moisture before seasoning it. First, I'm adding ground sesame, then some sugar, soy sauce, dried bonito flakes, salt and pepper. After tasting it, I thought it needed a little something. So I added some shantan, stock powder. You can use chicken stock powder or just add some more salt and pepper if you like. Mix well. Bonito flakes might be hard to get overseas, so in that case, I recommend adding some dash powder. Now that the side dish is done, let's move on to the tonkatsu. How do you think I'm gonna make it healthy? I'm slicing the pork fillet and making mini tonkatsu. This pork fillet is super thin. I need to make a batter, so I'm adding 1 tablespoon each of flour and water and mixing well. Lightly sprinkle both sides of the pork with salt and pepper. Normally, I'd coat the pork in a thick layer of butter and then a ton of panko, but not this time. I'm only putting butter on one side. Then I'm putting panko on the butter side. It's easy to do with just a spoon, which is nice. The amount of pork fillet I had was less than I thought, so I'm adding some shrimp to boost the protein. I removed the shrimp's vein and soaked them in sake for a bit to get rid of any fishness. I'm gonna use this garlic when I cook the shrimp. The core of the garlic burns easily, so I cook it out with chopsticks. Add some oil to the pan and cook the pork. Put the panko potty side down in the pan. Cook until the panko is golden brown. If the heat is too high, the panko will burn before the pork is cooked through, so medium-low heat is best. Flip it over and cook the side without the panko. Even though there is only panko on one side, it still has that tonkatsu feel. You guys should really try it. Clean the pan and cook the shrimp. Add a little oil and heat the sliced garlic. Be careful not to burn it. Once the oil is infused with garlic flavor, add the shrimp. I want to get that garlic flavor on the shrimp. Once the shrimp is almost cooked through, turn off the heat. Add some mirin and soy sauce. Turn the heat back on and cook the shrimp while mixing it with the sauce. It's like a Japanese version of garlic shrimp, I guess. Garlic and soy sauce are the best combo. The sauce is delicious when it soaks into the rice. Don't forget the garlic. And serve it with the broccoli side dish and the tonkatsu. Last, pour some tonkatsu sauce on it and it's perfect. Okay, next up is a super addictive rice dish with chicken and eggplant. For this recipe, I really recommend using chicken thigh. Remove the skin, excess fat, and tendons, then cut it into bite-sized pieces. You can make them a little bigger this time. I definitely want you to use eggplant if you can, but you can use other vegetables instead. You could add root vegetable like carrots, and broccoli is fine too, I guess. Make shallow cut on the skin side of the eggplant. This makes it easier for the flavor to soak in. Ginger is a key ingredient this time too, so please use it if you can. It's okay to skip it if you don't have it. You can use grated or shredded ginger. When you grate ginger and it looks bright yellow, that means it's fresh and you should eat it right away. Sometimes the color fades quickly, or even if you buy it and eat it right away, it's not very yellow. So when it has this color, I'm so happy. We are using this ginger to make the sauce. Mix water, sake, mirin, soy sauce, sugar, dashi powder, and ginger well. In Japanese cooking, eggplant and ginger are often paired together. And ginger is often paired with pork and chicken because it removes the unpleasant flavor, gives it a refreshing taste, and it's just a great match. Add a little sesame oil to a pan and cook the eggplant first. Eggplant soaks up oil so quickly, so once the skin side has absorbed some, flip it right away to coat both sides with oil. I was speedy this time since I'm using a small amount of oil. we're gonna simmer the eggplant later in the sauce. So just lightly cook it here. Take it out of the pan. Lightly cook the chicken. Cook it until the surface changes color. Sprinkle the chicken with a little salt and pepper. I was a bit worried about the chicken sticking to the pan and breaking apart, but it was fine. I was even more worried about the other side, so I added the sauce here. Now I don't need to worry about it sticking. Simmer the chicken while flipping it over. After simmering for 1 to 2 minutes, add the eggplant and continue simmering until the sauce is reduced. Now add the hard-boiled egg that we made earlier. I'm hoping it will soak up the flavor on the surface. I made it a little runny, so I think it will probably stay that way even after simmering it here. You should flip the eggplant and chicken regularly. Even if the eggplant looks soft, it can be surprisingly firm, so it's okay to simmer it more. It's more delicious when it's super soft. At least that's the case with Japanese eggplant. I was worried the egg would get too hard, so I took it out. Once the sauce is reduced by about half, take out the chicken and eggplant. You could just serve the sauce as is, but let's thicken it so it coats the ingredients better. Mix 1 teaspoon of potato starch with 2 teaspoons of water, and add it to the pan little by little. Make sure to mix well each time so it doesn't get lumpy. Add more water-soluble potato starch until it reaches your desired thickness. Simmer while mixing for 1 to 2 minutes. Plate the rice, chicken, eggplant, and egg. The egg stayed nicely runny. Finally, pour the thickened sauce over and sprinkle with green onions. And you are done! Alright, next up is a spicy stir-fried starving shrimp. Shrimp is healthy and high in protein, so I want to use a lot of it, but it's pretty expensive. So this time I managed to lower the cost with a little trick. First, minced onion, garlic, and ginger. These aromatics are important, so I definitely want you to use them. Cut the broccoli into small florets. You could make today's dish with just shrimp and it would be delicious, but I'm adding broccoli for vitamins and a good nutritional balance. And here's the little trick I was talking about. By adding some chicken breast, I don't need to use a ton of shrimp, so it helps cut costs. If you cut these chicken into thin stripes and carve them, they look like shrimp. You don't really need to make them look like shrimp though. And let's make the sauce in advance. Mix water, ketchup, sugar, shantan. You can use chicken stock powder instead, sake, and soy sauce well. I added more water later when I put it in the pan. Check the description on my blog for the detailed amount. Debrain the shrimp, add sake and salt, rub them, wash them well to remove any dirt, then pat them dry. Lightly sprinkle the chicken with salt and pepper. Lightly coat both of them with potato starch. This helps the sauce cling to them later, but just a little is enough. We are not deep frying this, so don't put too much potato starch. Once all that's ready, add some oil to a pan and fry the onion, garlic, and ginger. Add a little doubanjian here too. You can add more if you like. By the way, 1 tablespoon of doubanjian can be substituted with 1 tablespoon of miso, half teaspoon of soy sauce, about 1 teaspoon of red pepper flakes, and half teaspoon of sesame oil. I could add the shrimp and chicken here, but I was worried the chicken would stick. So I decided to cook it in a separate non-stick pan first and then add it to the others. With the non-stick pan, it won't stick even with just a little bit of oil. See how the chicken looks like shrimp when you bend it like this. In Japan, shrimp cost almost 3 times more than chicken breast, so shrimp is considered a luxury ingredient for me. How is it in your country? You could definitely just use shrimp for the entire recipe though, so do whatever you like. Some parts of the chicken were a little thick, so that took a bit longer to cook. Once it's all cooked, take it out of the pan. Add the broccoli to the pan that we used to fry the onion and cook it. Broccoli gets soft pretty quickly, so add the sauce while it's still somewhat firm. Then add the chicken and shrimp and mix them in. The sauce didn't have enough water and seemed like it would evaporate before mixing properly, so I added about 1 tablespoon more water. Mix it well to coat everything with the sauce. Taste it and add salt and pepper if needed. This dish is great because you can get a lot of protein and veggies all in one go, so you don't need to make a side dish. My husband, who hates broccoli and usually can only eat it if it's deep fried or covered in tons of mayonnaise, said this was delicious. It goes perfectly with rice too. Okay, last but not least, we are making a rich and flavorful yet healthy keema curry. Today I'm making saffron rice, but I'm cooking the rice in pot. So first I'm washing the rice really well and drain the water. Keema curry is a dry curry made with ground meat, and it's quite popular in Japan. I've made this type of curry a few times on this channel, but this time I've changed up the ingredients and spices. And most importantly, I've kept it low calorie and high protein. You can use canned tomatoes, but I'm using fresh tomatoes. Apparently, fresh tomatoes have more vitamin C than canned ones. I make a cut in them, put them in hot water for a few seconds to peel the skin. Peel the tomatoes and cut them into cubes. I'm using a whole onion this time. Dice it finely. Garlic is a must too. Miss that too. Oh, and I forgot to film it, but please miss or grate some ginger too. And this is optional, but I'm adding eggplant, although I don't usually put it in curry. You could use carrots instead. By the way, you often see eggplant, okra, and lotus root deep fried and used as topping for regular curry. Since it's keema curry, I'm cutting the ingredients into cubes. Now that all the ingredients are prepared, let's cook the rice. Today I'm making saffron rice. You can use regular fried rice, but I like to make this sometimes because you see this kind of rice at Indian curry restaurants. Put the water and saffron in the pot and mix well. Let it sit for 10 minutes until the color develops. Maybe 30 minutes will make the color even more vibrant. Add a little oil to a fry pan, then add the onion, garlic, and ginger and fry. Cook the onion until it softens. Let's check on the rice in the pot. It turned this vibrant yellow color in just 10 minutes. Cover the pot and wait until it comes to a boil over high heat. Once boiling, turn the heat to low and simmer for 15 minutes until the water is completely gone. Back to the fry pan. Add the ground chicken. Keema curry is made with ground meat, and most people usually use ground pork or beef. Having some fat definitely makes it richer and more flavorful, but I'm going for healthy this time, so I'm using ground chicken breast. If you season it with the stuff I'm about to tell you, it'll be super rich and flavorful even with this lean meat. Add sake to the chicken. Sake removes the unpleasant flavor and also helps the flavor soak into the meat. You can skip it if you don't have any. Then add curry powder, and cumin powder and mix it all up. The SB curry powder has turmeric, coriander, cumin, fenugreek, pepper, and red pepper in it. Pre-made curry roux is high in fat, so if you want to keep it low-calorie, I recommend using this powder type. Mix well, then add the tomatoes, eggplant, and the other seasonings. Add consomme, salt, ketchup, oyster sauce, and water. Mix well and simmer over medium heat to reduce the liquid. The tomatoes will also release a lot of water, so it will take a while to reduce. But keep mixing and reducing the water to make a delicious keema curry with a concentrated flavor. Once it's reduced like this, taste it and add salt and pepper to your liking. Adding a little sugar will also enhance the flavor. I threw in some garam masala at the end to kick up the spice a bit. I want to use eggs today too, so I want to cut the hard-boiled egg with the curry flavor. Added them a little late. The rice is cooked perfectly, so let's mix it. Should I take out these red saffron petals? I'm too lazy, so I just mix them in. I also make taco rice sometimes with this saffron rice, and my husband gets so happy when I make color rice like this. I don't think it changes the taste much, but the flavor is slightly better. When you make curry, using this rice makes it feel more like a restaurant. I sprinkle the rice with parsley and top the curry and egg with paprika powder to make it look cute.